Hey, Eli here. Today I want to talk to you about the RF 28 to 70 f2 from Canon. It's been around for a while. I've had it for a couple years. It's been my most used piece of equipment next to my computer. So I've photographed well over 100 weddings, 150 other sessions with it. And yeah, I just want to kind of share my thoughts. I know it's a little late, but I'm new to YouTube, so let's get it out there. This thing's big, it's heavy, it's expensive, but other than that, it's amazing. Probably one of the best, most versatile lenses I've ever used. It's sharp, it can shoot in low light, focus is great, and yeah, sharp all the way through, 28 through 70. I'm gonna go over some images today. You'll see that I'm pretty much across the board when I use this lens. Yeah, really take advantage of that zoom because it is sharp all the way through. If you stop down past f2, really going to sharpen up quick. Previously, I would use a 35 and a 50 1.4 lenses for Sony, and they don't make a 35 yet for Canon. That's a low aperture or high quality. They do have the macro, but it's not a lens I use much. So yeah, until then, this will be my lens of choice for most things. I'll get creative with the 51-2 when I want to really get some bokeh, or I'll pull out an 85 1.4 when I really want to get some separation. But this thing is, it's amazing. So let's jump through some images today, and I'll just show you about 180 photos from the last couple of years of my favorites and the art I've been able to create and stuff I've been able to document. It's going to range from families to elopements to weddings to band. Yeah, and maybe some business portraits. I can't remember. So let's jump in here. We're going to start out with an engagement session. We're going to do my most recent work to my oldest work all the way back into 2020. So here we are at 45 millimeter at f2 on the R5. Sharp as can be, sharp as it needs to be. And yeah, just a great image here. And f2, 60 millimeter. And here we are at 44 millimeter. So I think I added a little grain to this just to get creative. And here we are. Great color rendering here. Nice soft light, 55 millimeter. And up on top of a mountain or a little hill overlooking the forest. F2, nice and sharp. Out on a frozen lake, 2.8. Generally when I get far away, I just, stop down the aperture because there's no reason to get bokeh. So I want to get everything I can in focus here. And here we are at 48 millimeter at f2. Some great separation. And a family shoot, 37 millimeter, f2. Family session, stop down just a little bit to get this little girl in the front in focus. And f2. f2.2. Everybody's in focus. Great separation. 2.5. Crazy sharp. And 2.0. 2.0 again. Here I probably should have stopped down a little bit. She just fell out of focus slightly. And Mr. Phil Dunphy here, 50 millimeter f2 with the R3, really pushing it at 10,000 ISO. So just, yeah, crazy that you can do this. I didn't have time to go grab any lights, and so this was great. It was really dark. And here we are outside, and for a first look, portraits, f2, just great. Love the colors in this. And 2.8, 2.0, and 2.0, 2.2, 2.0. Just sharp. Yeah, that's perfect. And f2, 70 millimeter. And I love the way that this handles flare. Sometimes it can get real crazy. You see a little bit down here on his arm, but you can always put the flare where you want it for the most part, as long as you're watching it. And here, just nice warm orange tones. Love the colors. Crazy sharp. Yep, f2, photographing through a baby toy. f2.2. Little night shot, 2.5. And just some details. f2. And ceremony first kiss. This one was awesome. f2. Yeah, just nailed it. And here we are up on top of a mountain. It's starting to get pretty dark after sunset. Hiked through a storm and then it cleared up. But yeah, this is great. f2, some great colors. Looking the other way. f2. And f2.0. Nice and sharp. And yeah, this is great with kids because you never know what kids are going to do, and it gives you a lot of versatility. We popped a little light in here. Way down the mountain. f2, 29 millimeter. And here we are at 28 vertically, and then horizontal, 28 mil. Crazy sharp. And this, yeah, I love Canon. Look at these colors, just beautiful. Deep blues. There's an orange over here. 33 millimeter at 2.2. And this is a panoramic, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. Either way, yeah, 45 mil. That's probably just 45 mil. Some direct sun there at f2. And Crater Lake at sunset, f2. And yes, love this. Canon right there for the win. Those beautiful flares. Nice warm tones. Love it. And f2 again. First kiss at f2. Another first kiss at f2. And Crater Lake, sunset, f2. f2. And yeah, here's some fun flare right here. Not the best image, but I liked the flare and the colors in this image. That's why I left it in. And a little flare down here on the bottom. And here we are at f2.0. Just super sharp. 28 millimeter. f2.2. f2. This image was actually just a little out of focus, but still great image. 2.2. And like you can get everything. Get the whole ceremony in here. Get in tight. Little family session. It's like I focused up here. But usually I'll focus on the front and then it'll fall off into the back a little better. And here we are at 70 millimeter on R6. And this is a big panoramic at 70 millimeter. But yeah, you can see they're nice and sharp far away. Sometimes lenses will fall soft the further you get out, but not this thing. Little family session, 2.8. Can't beat that. And exchanging vows at f2. And up at the mountains, 41 millimeter, 2.2. And then popping champagne at f2, just great. And walking down the aisle, f2. A lot of times I'll mention to my couples, you know, if you want on your way out, kiss. And they do most of the time. Perfect. Yeah, 50 millimeter. Could have used the 51 too, but this was already on there, so that's probably why I used it. 50 millimeter, 2.0. And 70 millimeter, f2. And this was great because it was kind of a little dark in here. 1000 ISO on the R3 at 28 millimeter at f2. And this one I'm shooting a reflection, so it's a little different, and I'm pushing the camera pretty hard as far as ISO, but still sharp and focused good in a reflection. A little bit of flare here. It's kind of a hazy flare, but f2. And indoors, f2. A little bit of sunlight popping in. And far away again. Still pretty darn sharp right there at f2. And just at a concert. 28 mil f2. And pre-concert, doing some portraits. f2. Yeah, look at that. Crazy sharp. There's just added grain here. Usually we get a little more creative with the band stuff as far as editing process. These are on the R6. Also, it's going to look a little sharper on the R6 versus the R5 just due to the megapixels. A little motion blur on that one. And then some more portraits. These are all zoomed in. And 28 millimeter on the R6. And ceremony for an elopement in the snow. And first kiss. Look at that. Perfect. 1600 ISO on the R6. And mountaintop elopement. F2. F2. 2.8. And ceremony. And portraits in Cannon Beach for an elopement, 38 millimeter. F2. Just a little bit of haze maybe, but still great. F2.0. 2500 ISO with the R6. And 2000 ISO on the R6. Yeah, I mean, there's no, I didn't have any lights. I think the videographers, they had a couple lights, yeah, which was awesome. And then F2 out in front of the Capitol, by the Tower Bridge at F2. And this is a panoramic 70 millimeter for ceremony. And another panoramic at Crater Lake. This was awesome. The clouds lifted right when their ceremony started. And so they got this beautiful, I mean, yeah, ridiculous view. It was in October at Crater Lake. I think it was one of the early snows. And then this is up on a mountain on the way down. F3.2. F2.2, Smith Rock. You can see some flare coming in here, nice and pretty. F2.0. F2. Little flare popping in. F2.2. 3.5. I'm not sure why it was so high, but turned out. F2. And smoky ceremony. F2.0. And yep, first kiss, heading out. Had a little, I think I had a light up on the balcony that I turned on with a remote video light as they were heading out. The Godox 100 watt. And R6 28 millimeter F2. Again, F2. And this is kind of a smoky sunset. We had some wildfires. F2. 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 And then, yeah, exiting the ceremony. F2. Here, Istanbul at sunset. Just love these colors. And on the dance floor, they covered the pool with plexiglass for the dance floor. Yeah, love this flare. And yeah, probably one of my favorite spots right here, this portrait. Yeah, this is my favorite portrait, I think. One of my favorites of all time. Just a crazy experience. Really epic. These guys are awesome. 3 days of shooting. And yeah, this is cool. Full bottle party, 3.2. Got everybody in focus. Documentation, kind of a weird, fun portrait. You can see the groom here. Just playing around with stuff. Yeah, at first look, that's fun. A little reflection. And this one was an accident. I got lucky. The wedding date's right here. On the dance floor, generally I'll put my flash at the lowest power and shoot at 1000 ISO and shutter between 60 and 160, depending on the ambient lights. But nice and sharp. And no added light here. And F2. 2.2. Yeah, just wandering the streets in Istanbul. And F2.0. Back in the US, F2. And up on a mountaintop, and this had my brother was holding an ice light, little wand, and yeah, they make some great light. And then this is just natural light. See the gradient of the sky changing. We're up on top of a mountain here, probably about somewhere between 8,500 and 9,000 feet, I think. Sunset. And then we were up at this point, F4, yeah, because I really wanted to get everything. Got a little too windy, so we had to leave, so we can get blown off. But 60 millimeters, so this is a panoramic. And 28 millimeter. We were able to jump in this pool before we took pictures. It was cold and refreshing. And 62 millimeter f2. Love this hazy flare. I think it lets flare in, but it's controlled enough to be creative with, which I think is great, in my opinion. Some people may not like it. And f2. And this is a proposal. I shoot a lot of proposals. Well, I say 2 to 3 a year. That seems like a lot to me. They're kind of stressful, but super rewarding. Got a little soaked up here. All right, F2, another waterfall outside of Portland. And on the way to the waterfall, another waterfall. I did 4 waterfalls with these guys in one day. It was awesome. This is a panoramic, so we're at 58 millimeter, and I took 6 images and stitched them all together. And then the coast. Towards the end of the session, getting soaked. And then just some slow shutter stuff, 2.8, 50, well, just a little bit of blur back there. And F2 in Portland. And F2, F2.2. And same spot on the wide end. So you could, yeah, this is a great ceremony lens. These guys are awesome. And full ceremony in here. Just got to back up a little bit. And wedding portrait. It's awesome. So these are going to 2020, I think, EOS R. And so a little bit different on the colors, but same flares. And I love this image. Some crazy flare. I think the sun was like right here. And yeah, a lot of fun colors. Just a really pretty image. And some flare here you can see. Some dust. And then this is up on top of South Sister, 10,000 feet up, a glacier. This is epic. These guys are amazing. And F4. And then F2. Ceremony. And then on the way up. So yeah, there's a bunch of images, give you an idea of how this thing's worked out for me. I love it. It's just big. You know, I won't travel with it. I'll travel with the 28 to 7 or 24 to 70. It's a lot more manageable. And generally, we'll just take this one lens if I'm going on a trip, if I'm not taking something else. But yeah, lens is awesome. I highly recommend it if you can find a used one out there. Or, you know, they are pricey, but if it's what you're going to use for, you know, for everything, then I think it's worth it. It does make it a lot easier to not change lenses. You get a little less dust on your sensors, you know, things like that, moving around a lot less. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Hopefully that's helpful. I'll get into these other lenses as well. But yeah, I say use whatever works for you. And if this works for you, go buy it. So again, you can go to my website, check out these images that I just showed you. And yeah, just watch more videos to see what I think of all this gear. So have a good day.